ever wondered why we choose to model with quad polygons and why this one surface type is the gold standard for all the 3D models that we create? Let's jump into our Blender scene and explore some of the details as to why a quad polygon is really the ultimate result and the ultimate goal of the things that we're trying to craft. Now, as a small, simple little reminder here, a quad polygon really is nothing more than a surface that has 4 verts on it, connected to it. This interior field is the surface itself, and it's got 4 verts that are attached to it right here in the corners. Of course, our friend up here to the north, that is a triangle, and as you would absolutely surmise, a triangle is a surface, our most simple surface, but it only has 3 verts associated with it. So why do we like this guy down here and not so much this guy up at the top? Well, it's not so much that we don't like triangles, we just want to use them strategically. Triangles produce some issues when it comes to the sculpting and the crafting of our three-dimensional models. Let me show you one of the big benefits of working inside of this quad polygon world. The quad polygons can be subdivided without losing their interior shape itself. For example, if I was to go in, I could very quickly slice this way and slice this way, and we still have an exterior shape that's identical to the original form. If we keep subdividing it, if I add another line going down this way and another line going down this way, you can see that I can do this subdivision process forever. And the original shape, that exterior shape, is still identical. So this gives us a tremendous amount of flexibility when working inside of the digital sculpting process. We're going to be looking at a wonderful bit of technology called multi-resolution sculpting, which takes advantage of this entire idea. One square that's then subdivided into a whole series of smaller squares. This subdivision process is non-destructive. I can add and remove these subdivisions whenever I want. It's pretty fantastic. And the original shape never changes. So there's a certain level of flexibility that we gain when working with inside of quad polygons. The other thing that we benefit and we gain from is on a technology level. All quads are really just 2 triangles stuck together. At the end of the day, everything is going to get triangulated by our graphics cards. If you think about it, our graphics cards are responsible for drawing all these wonderful surfaces inside of our video signals themselves. It'd be a whole lot easier for them to manage a surface that has 3 points instead of 4, right? It's just physical, smaller numbers of verts that they have to manage. And they do that. Everything gets triangulated. Well, if we start with a quad polygon, we can ask our computer very quickly just to cut the diagonal here and make two triangles. Of course, we got one up here and then a second one down below. So all quad polygons can be transformed into triangles. They give us a high level of flexibility when we subdivide and use our editing tools. The outside shape is never going to change when we're working with a quad polygon. Anything that we do on the inside is not going to change the exterior form that we create when working with quads. In addition, if we take this idea into 3D, quad polygons give us a level of flexibility and editability to our meshes that triangles don't. Okay, let me show you specifically what I'm talking about. I'm going to go in and select this object here real fast. This is my sphere object. And if I was to jump into edit mode and select some faces, I can very quickly select entire loops of polygons, which gives us these wonderful boundaries of control inside of the mesh itself. All of our 3D mesh component tools are built around quad polygons, and we can very quickly, and I mean very quickly, go in and continue to refine this section. Let's just extrude it as an example and produce some wonderful results all with quad polygons. Now, if we were to go back, I'm going to just take a couple steps back here for a second. Now, watch what would happen if I was to triangulate this mesh. And it's simply, just so it's real quick, I'm going to jump over into my sculpting workflow, and I'm just going to run Dyntopo real fast. Okay. Let's turn on Dyntopo. And we're also going to turn on the visibility of our geometry. It's asking me, do you really want to do this? Yep, I really want to do this. Here we go. Now, it added a whole bunch of polygons right where my cursor clicked, but at the top here, it's all been triangulated, okay? And let's look at the bottom just to get away from the smaller triangles. So now, down here at the bottom, we don't have the luxury of that wonderful loop selection mode. See how I can't select those wonderful regions? I had to do it by hand. My ability to edit and make big sweeping changes when working with triangles is really quite reduced if I was to extrude this now, we're getting a very different result than we were before. Triangles also produce some problems when it comes to the deformation of our models. We can't subdivide them on the inside, right? If we were to go back and look at my simple two-dimensional polygons we saw before, we can't take this triangular shape and subdivide it, add interior detail that's going to enhance the level of polygons that we have, the number of polygons that we have within the surface, and it's just going to continue to add additional problems. As an example, we can't go in and do this with a triangle, right? Can't do that, unfortunately. We can do that with a square quite wonderfully, but we can't do that with a triangle. We can't go in and add new shapes on the inside to enhance the number of polygons, okay? We can't do that. Okay, pretend that goes all the way into the corner, okay? Triangles produce a lot of problems for us. They're not really the best surface type. Quad polygons solve all of those problems that we were talking about before and give us the most flexible workflow. Our entire industry and our entire work environment is built around the creation of quad polygons. Triangles are going to happen. Triangles are going to sneak into our models. They're not the worst thing that we can have. They just don't give us as many choices. If we can eliminate a triangle inside of our model, we should look to do so. We should always design and craft or retopologize the surfaces so that we can strip out any frequency of a triangle showing up in the final mesh itself. The end result is going to be stronger. It's going to be faster to work with. It's going to give you more options. Quad polygons are the best surface type in our model. Or in our three-dimensional workflow. It's a universally accepted file format. Doesn't matter what application you send your model into, it's going to be read correctly when it's all created with quad polygons. Some models or some applications, when you bring in a quad polygon mesh, when you bring in a triangulated mesh, they don't shade correctly, or sometimes the polygons don't show up because it doesn't understand how these triangles work together to create the full geometric conclusion of that sculpture. Quad polygons fundamentally give us the most control and the most options, and I encourage you to build all of your sculptures with quad polygons at heart.